Hello, family and friends. I'm out here again. Every week I get out here. Simulates around 4 hours if you're actually in the wilderness. The way I see it with my experience, which is no bushwhacking or bushcrafting, survival, a little bit of seer training, and you know. A little bit of foraging. Okay, so the plants I've been using all summer are gone, so I have to find something else for inflammation. So there's going to be winter foraging coming up. This is almost the end of summer. Beginning of September to October is a special time for me because it's suicide prevention time, and which is all the time with Mission 22. But in October we do our Out of the Darkness walk or run 5K because for people that lost loved ones or actually tried it themselves. But that's not what this one's about today. The first thing I want to talk about is I watch a lot of YouTube, and sometimes I come across these haters, but this guy, let's see, Strokermatic, whatever his name is, he just started ranting for about 10 minutes that he doesn't hate bushcrafters, but then he trashes them. But I watched the video 3 times because he's all over the place. But Corporal Kelly, actually, I watched it before I saw it with Corporal Kelly, and I don't get what this guy's doing. All he's doing is hating on the craft, bushcrafting. He seems to think that skill is worthless when there's a shift. I call it a shift. Stuff hits the fan. Why would anybody not want to learn this craft? Even on making a shelter, okay? Just making a little shelter, I used to want to make a tree house when I was a kid. I just don't have the means to do it, so I'm doing it other ways. That's why I'm not a bushcrafter. So I'm more what I call a bushwhacker, which definition is a hiker that gets off the path. So I'm learning foraging. I'm learning survival, which I have a lot of that under my belt, more so than bushcrafting. And I'm trying to learn a little bit of bushcrafting. Now the traps that I made, they sprung, but I didn't get anything. So I have to relook at my trapping because that's going to be my #1 source of food if I'm not close to a river. The other thing I was thinking about is my hammock. I can make a gill net out of it, which I didn't even think of. So, like I said, I'm learning this. I've been doing this for 5 months. But I want to read this passage to kind of hope people understand that there's no reason to hate. Okay, this is out of Matthew 22, and it's verses 34 through 40. I'll try to wait for the traffic. That's the other thing he says. You don't see what's behind them. Well, so what? Who cares if they're 10 feet into a field or they're out in the field? They're actually doing it. They're setting it up. Like this pack right here, it's got all my real world stuff in it. Have I used it? No. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tear this stuff down and use it. Anyway, starting now in Matthew 22:34. Hearing that Jesus had silenced the Sadducees, the Pharisees got together. One of them, an expert in the law, tested him with a question. Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Jesus replied, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment, and the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. One, love the Lord. He's your creator. He's the one that helps you. Two, love your neighbor. That's what he wants you to do. The greatest commandment is love. 10 commandments are from the New Testament, and yes, we still follow them, but they're not our law. This is our law, New Testament. You know, the whole Bible exists together, and we do follow the Old Testament, but we're actually, with Jesus' death for our sins, we're not required to follow it. Anyway, we're not going to get into that. So, there's some bushcrafters I want you to actually look at. One is Corporal Kelly, of course, Corporal's Corner. The other one, and this guy, Strokermatic, he said, I've only watched a little bit of them. Now, how can you ascertain whether you like them or not if you've only watched a little bit of them? So, gray-bearded Green Beret, I tell you what, if I would have found him before Corporal Kelly, I would have watched him instead of Corporal Kelly. He's very humble, and he just takes you through and shows you how to do things. You know, he's very soft-spoken, and I've been watching him for a while, a couple weeks now, and I really like him. Now, Cool Cracker, he's all right, and I've watched a few of his videos, but I can't ascertain if I like him or not. I certainly don't hate anybody. It's just some people I'd rather watch than others. You know, I start watching somebody, you know, like a month ago, I started watching somebody that, you know, he does what I do. I repurpose things now because I can't afford to buy it. There was a time that I would just replace everything. But now I'm repurposing, and I wanted to learn how to do that, and God let me do that. So, but this guy, he's like, he doesn't understand that people will actually leave their house if there's a shift. Well, I think he would understand when a group of people that all they're doing is killing people and taking their stuff would come through. And I think I mentioned that guy before. Anyway, regardless, what today is about shelters. So, the way I look at it, been at this camp maybe 4 days. You know, I know the videos keep going, but this was my original sleeping quarters, and it got soaked. Obviously, I didn't have a raised bed. I don't have the wood to make a raised bed. So, since I don't like tents, I'm going to remedy that with this stuff in here. This tent obviously was too high, but it did serve the purpose of blocking some of the view from the road, and it's high enough that I could put the camera in there. So, and then I put this on here just because I wanted to air it out. So what I'm going to have to do is tear a lot of this out. I'm going to have to run ridge line from there to there, and I'm going to show you all how to do that. I have new 550 cord, actually 550 cord. I'm going to work with that, and I'm going to set up a real world setup like I would if I was out in the field. And hopefully I get to use this sometimes, because there's some places I want to go and camp. So without further ado, let me get to this bag here. A few things I've picked up that you should probably add to your. You ever go to the dollar store, which is the $1.25 store now? Get a couple glow sticks. I got 6 of these sharpeners for like $1.25. And what's good about that is you can actually, it saves your shavings, and you can actually take like sticks. That one would fit. I didn't prep for this. I didn't plan on doing this. Take sticks and If you need some kindling quick, switch this around. If you need some kindling, you have it. So that was another idea I found out about. I think it's a pretty cool idea. The other thing that you might not see a lot of with me, but you're gonna start to. I bought 6 of these bags off of Amazon, and they just look like little nylon bags, but they're actually waterproof bags. So some of the stuff I have in here, I'm gonna go ahead and take care of. And I also bought this little tin, so I can actually, you know, if I'm like trying to make some shavings or whatever, if I wanna do a feather stick and I keep dropping them like I do. I'm gonna see how that works. If not, you know, it'll go in my office. But little things like that, kind of keep an eye out for in the dollar store. So I am gonna go ahead and get to this pack. I did bring out my cordage from my hiking pack because I want to kind of replace some of it. So this is a mini Alice pack. I'm sorry, medium Alice pack. The straps go on just like a regular Alice pack. I mean, everything is just like a regular Alice pack. So I have my poncho in here that I took off my LBE a while ago because I put a coat on there, which we're going to start needing coats pretty soon, probably in another month. I work at the corn maze in September and October. I'm going to show you the difference between this, but this is what I bought. I bought 250 feet of it, and the difference is night and day between that Walmart crap. So I have cordage in here. Anyway, I worked at corn maze on Friday nights from September to October, just for, it's a non-profit organization. It's faith-based. The only faith-based people work there. 4 of those Friday nights are going to go for our charity Run for the Sun with the Christian Motorcycle Association. Anyway, I got some steaks. This right here. 10 steaks are expensive. I think I paid like, I don't know, $10 for like 8 of them. So this actually is one of those tarps that, actually not even a tarp, it's a cover. I call it a tent tarp because it's got middle loops. So the middle loops you could actually, I could just tie them to the tree instead of doing a ridge line. So that's going to be cool. In here I've got tinctures of iodine and bleach. Okay, so I put the chemical name on it in case anybody found it. I know it's bleach. If you open this up, it smells like bleach. This is 10% iodine. So if I had a gallon of water, like I have gallon bags, I would only have to put 1 drop in here, okay, and wait 30-35 minutes. I tried to find 2%, but I couldn't find it, but it's better off with 10%. Okay, so the other thing I have in here is something I'm going to use to actually deflect my fire so all the heat goes to me. So it's a, they call it safety blanket. Now you can get these with orange on the other side. Like I said, I'm a covert kind of guy. If I want to be seen, I'll be seen. Just like if you ask Alexis, where's Chuck Norris? She will tell you if Chuck Norris wanted you to find him, he would. If not, it's too late. Something like that. So that's all in that compartment. Oh, this is cool. Oh, this is a little tube. Little tube, but crack the tube, and it's a saw. It's a little bitty bow saw. It's all I can afford right now, but it's nice and compact, and it works for me. Alright. So, this whole thing is waterproof. So I got a little extra cordage in there that came with some of the stuff. Some aluminum tent stakes that came with some of the stuff. I mean, they're 3-way. They're in a triangle. I don't remember what it came with, but I pretty much may or may not use them. I have no idea what I'm going to use or not. Okay? So, we'll get to that bag later. And I've got my little coffee filter, so I can filter out water or make coffee, but mostly make coffee. I've got duct tape in here. I've got my tinder box, which all my tinder box has it in there. It's tinder. It's char material. Pretty sure, yeah. No, actually, it's got more than char material. It's got these little wax cotton balls I cover, and I thought I put some. No, I don't have it. Some fat wood. So you should always try to keep some fat wood with you. Like, I don't use this much because I want to keep it for the shift. But the other thing I got in here, since I'm sure people complain about my container, my double wall, blah blah blah, is so I've got this nesting cup. This thing was expensive. This was $35, and it's got a handle for it, so I could boil water in here, and the little cup has a lid. So what I have in there, what I'd like to put, make room for is maybe my propane tank with a starter, but I don't know. So the reason I brought my poncho is because this is the coolest thing ever. This is like my favorite piece. We didn't have these in the military. At least I didn't have access to them. So for my poncho, I have a poncho liner, which I could turn with my poncho and that liner. I could turn that into a sleeping bag. And then I have, this hasn't been out of the bag. So that poncho liner was $44. The safety 20, and I think the tarp tent, I believe that was like 27 to 35. So anyway, I have a hammock. So we're going to put that up. So that's what I want to sleep with. I want to sleep with a hammock That way I'm not on the ground like over here. And then I want to have cover. And then I want to be able to take part of that A-frame, lift it up, and be able to get heat into my tent. So you basically hook it up like a lean-to like this. So you've got, this is your part of your tent that comes out, and then your reflective blanket goes like this. So when rain comes, it doesn't go down and smoke will come out. It's pretty cool. The other thing I have in here that I'm probably going to put on the outside, a sleeping mat, which is commonly called a furniture blanket. And then I have my wool blanket in here. That's it. That's it out of my medium Alice pack. Because the rest of the stuff is in my LBE. So I don't really need much more except for food. Anyway, I'm going to start clearing an area, and I'll turn this back on when I'm at a point where I can actually do some things. God bless you. Take care. So, the first thing I want to do, I want to go from that limb over there. I want to have my ridge line around 20 feet or less. But what I ran into is this thing, which is called a Widowmaker. So let me focus in on that. It is, sorry about the camera sounds. Let me get a little bit. I think, yeah, this right here, because up and over, I got it to the point now where all I got to do is pull this, and it's going that way. I got all my new gear out of the way, except for my Alice pack. They think it'll be all right. So I'm just gonna try to get this thing down. Yeah, that right there would have sucked if it would have hit me. So you just gotta keep an eye on Widowmakers. This right here is a Widowmaker too. But I gotta figure out how to get it loose because it's way up there. And I hit my head on this thing more times than I want to, and I'm tired of it. So I just got to get this thing down. But I'll be back after I clean up some of this wood. And I will be using a chainsaw. It'll take long. And I did got some free firewood. So I'm cleaning that up. I'll tell you what. I give it to these guys that go out and do this, like in those, that series alone, and women. I'll tell you what, some of them women have a great advantage knowing all the medicinal stuff and what to eat, what not to eat. And there's a guy who was drinking salt water, didn't even know it. That's too bad. Sad thing is, I probably would have drank it too. I don't know, you know. So anyway, this winter is going to be awesome because I saw my first woolly bear. It's not supposed to snow, but it'll be cold enough that I can burn up all this excess wood and keep myself warm. So I'm going to move the camera over here, so I'm going to do a ridge line. I'm going to get on my rope out again, because I moved everything to drop that branch. Kind of concerned about this one, but I cut it off and it won't come out. I think it's still attached up there. But that's one to keep an eye on. It is a Widowmaker, so nothing goes on in this area. Over here. I want that there. going to go away. I'll bring out my real axe, the one I actually use. I do have another hatchet in my hiking bag. So, got this thing fired up. There's a limb here making that rest. So I'm going to cut off these lower limbs. So, since there's tension on this, I gotta make sure it doesn't snap back at me. That's why I'm underneath this side and not that side. So, now I'm going to cut the rest of this up, but that was the most dangerous part. Wanted you guys to see that, wanted you to know that. Anyway, I'll be back. You guys take care. I can't wait to go hiking with the girls at the end of the month.